Hey everyone, good to see you. Question is, how can a church be pro-life in word and deed? And we could do a theological exposition on how a church can actually be pro-life in word and deed. But I think it makes sense that if we just give an example of how, show the deed side of what the Bible gives us the call to, the opportunity to join in on mission with the Lord in all areas of our society here in the U.S., especially here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. How can a little church or a big church practically address issues like pro-life? So, going to be talking about how we were able to have just an amazing time at the end of December as we did an annual event for mothers and some fathers, but mostly mothers that have chosen life for their babies, and how the church and the community, we even had a credit union come in. Two girls came in from a local high school. We all banded together. Church members jumped in with both feet, and we ended the year with a bang, and kind of wore Karma and me out, but it was a good tired, if you know what I mean. But so this is our first video in 2026, wanting to give you these regular updates of the work that you have helped us launch here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I want to say Albuquerque, New Mexico and beyond. And if you could see the back side of the camera, I've got note cards laid out here so I can, always have something to say. But our first one is Christians on mission. And what do I mean by that? First of all, if you have received any of these emails and videos beforehand, you saw that the channel name was Donnie and Karma, representing, Donnie and Karma and me are sent out by the North American Mission Board and by Restore Church here in Albuquerque as missionaries to our city and beyond. Here's the heart of what we are praying over and attempting with the Christians on Mission YouTube channel. Made that switch, and that is not only for us to share what we're doing, but for you to share with Karma and me what you're doing in your community when it comes to reaching out, sharing the gospel with your neighbors, showing the message and the mercy of Jesus Christ in our community, as churches, as businesses, as families, as individuals. How can we reach our community with the gospel? I think we all agree. Think of all the events that happened in 2025. I know I came out of that year thinking, if our country ever needed missionaries, it's now. If our country ever needed the true gospel of Jesus Christ, it's now. Our culture is in great need of revival, of the gospel, of church planting, of individuals that have dreams and visions of starting ministries, of doing ministry themselves. And Christians on Mission is a way for all of us to learn how. How can we reach our neighbors with the Gospels? I was thinking about a phrase. We could say, how to reach our neighbors and the nations with the gospel. But really, when it comes down to it, all missions is local. If you are called to be a missionary to a foreign culture, a culture foreign to the one that you grew up in, you know that once you are able to do all of the logistics to get on site and get on the field, once you get there, it's local outreach, it's local church planting, it's local mission work. And so wherever you are, all missions is local. Foreign culture ministry has very unique challenges, and thank you if you are one of those that are involved in that. But the Great Commission applies to all of us. So that's kind of the attitude and the vibe that we can learn from each other on this channel, on how maybe you're in a rural small church, maybe a traditional church. How do you reach your community? Maybe you're in more of an maybe an urban core of a big city. How do you reach your neighbors with the gospel? Maybe you're more in a smaller city, maybe in more of a suburb environment. And how does your church and how do you as an individual reach people with the gospel? It is a challenge. Any mission work has its unique challenge. If we're doing outreach here in the U.S. or in a Western country, then we have programs and we have services for every imaginable human need, really, except the core, except our heart. We will give services for every physical need that's out there while we're dying of spiritual hunger. How do we bust through those barriers and get to the hearts of our neighbors in our communities? That's the challenge before us here with us moving forward. And so Karma and I want to show you our journey here in 2026 of how we're trying to figure this out. I had some wonderful friends that have given me some great advice, and they told me, Donnie, you and Karma are on the mission field. Go do ministry and then document your journey. And so we're in the beginning of laying the foundation, both financially and practically speaking, on how to start a ministry here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The unique thing about ministering like this in our own city is since we are on the mission field, we can both develop a ministry and we can do ministry at the same time. So I am pumped. I'm looking forward to documenting what we get involved in here in our city. Our ministry focuses on 3 areas. We want to come alongside and help support pro-life ministries, such a need here in Albuquerque. We want to help equip men. Karma and me both have a burden for young men in our culture and in our churches today. I personally have been blessed to come from a kind of a different world. I grew up in a very traditional family, a large extended family. My grandparents had, on my dad's side, had 6 kids. 4 of those were men. I grew up around those men. My mom's parents had just my mom and my uncle, and my one uncle on my mom's side, tremendously influential to me on what it means to be a man, what it means to provide and protect as a man. And I see that we are in a different world when it comes to manhood. And man, to whom much is given, much is required. And I feel a joyful burden to share the amazing gift that I've been given with all of the strong men, the spiritual men, the men who led well through the years, through my extended family. And I want to share that with those that maybe don't even know what it's like to have a dad. They haven't really seen a good example of a man who stayed. A man who stayed. He was there. He provided for his family. He provided and protected his wife and his kids, and he served his church as a man of God. Many of them weren't as talkative as me, just silently were rocks who stood there. They stood on the Word of God, and they stood there for their family, their church, and their community. So many examples of guys that were around me and influenced me. I don't want to keep that to myself. I want to share that legacy with men. And then finally, to serve our local church plant. We're part of Restore Church Albuquerque. We're about 5 or 6 years old, so still a brand new church here. Just launched in at the very beginning of COVID 2020, and so here's the big first step, and then wham, pandemic. So have a heart for church planting and have for many, many years, really all my life, had a heart for both missions and the church. And that's best fleshed out as church planting. So that's a big part of it. I feel a tickle in my throat. I'm gonna have to cough. Let me turn away from the mic. Excuse me. So, and that's here with this podcast as we are wanting to, as church members, to invite all of us to be Christians on mission. So, yes, request. I'm going to put this in the email. I'm going to put this on here right now verbally. Could you email us? I haven't asked for anybody to email us yet. And I would love to hear how you are reaching your neighbors, how you are reaching the nations in your area through your church, through your individual efforts. What are you doing to share the gospel with your community? I want to learn from you. I want to share what we're doing with each other and just really have some dialogue here, have some interaction. I will go to Donnie, Donnie, at restoreabq.com, restoreabq.com, Donnie at restoreabq.com, and I'll read your emails, and I would be really encouraged and really fascinated at what's working for you. Are you in a rural environment? Are you in a different environment? Are you looking to serve overseas? I'm thinking right now of the Mason family. We are in a training community together, a training program together on how to become fully funded as missionaries. And they have a large family. They're from the southern part of the United States, and they are feel called to both go to Hawaii and plant churches and start a theological seminary in Hawaii. And think, wow, well, that's a tourist destination. Yeah, but the needs, once you get away from the tourist centers, are great for solid, theologically trained leaders leading the churches and serving the communities. And I'm sure beyond, that would be a great place as a hub for people to come in. I don't know all the aspects of their ministry, but whether it's local or that's part of the U.S., but it feels pretty foreign, to whatever God has called you to, share with me. I would love to hear it. I'd really be appreciate if you would email us and just tell me how you're reaching your community with the gospel. And so that is Christians on Mission, helping all of us reach our communities with the gospel. And next, I want to start our videos with a gospel minute. And here is the gospel minute with this title, The Great Samaritan. The Great Samaritan, a riff off of the Good Samaritan from the Gospels. Many years ago, probably 20 years ago, I preached a sermon in Memphis, Tennessee on the Christian's duty to be a Good Samaritan to those that have physical and spiritual needs, those that are on the ditch in our environment. You know how the story goes, is that he was going along, and as he was going along on his journey of regular responsibilities and his schedule, he saw someone in need, and he stopped and helped them out physically. And oh, Lord, help us. Lord, help all the people that heard me when I was younger. But it was very duty driven. It was, here's what the Bible commands, do it. What's our problem? As soon as I got done with that message, I sat down. Immediately, another preacher stood up and went to the exact same text and went point by point through the passage, showing that the Good Samaritan is actually Jesus. And the person that's broken and needy in the ditch is us. And Jesus is the one that brought us in, healed our wounds, and saved us from death. And it was a pretty awkward moment because it was the same congregation and they just heard two completely different messages from the exact same passage with a different application. And I say, which one of us was right? Which one of us? I was saying, here's the duty of all of us to be a Good Samaritan to others. This other preacher was saying, Jesus is the Good Samaritan to us. And I say this, we were both right and we were both wrong. The accurate, in my opinion, application of this includes both, where my message was duty driven. I believe the other message was more theoretical. But the actual one is when we see Jesus as our rescuer. That gives us the power to rescue others with the heart and the strength that only the gospel can give. We've got to see the Great Samaritan before we can be a good Samaritan. Gospel Minute. Next one is Action Update. Oh my goodness, 2025 December could not have ended with a bigger bang with the Christmas store at Restore Church Albuquerque. Pastor Justin asked Karma and me to organize and lead the event this year. It's something that our church has done yearly for 3, maybe 4 years now. And the Christmas store, what is it? Well, we partner with other organizations, but the number one pro-life organization, and this is the example of the practical way that we can be a church that's pro-life, both in word and deed. And here's a deed, and it was a blast. So once we've seen the Great Samaritan has rescued me, now here's one practical way that we can show that in deed ministry to others. Okay, what is the Christmas store? The Christmas store is we partner with a local pro-life organization called Alongside Ministries. Alongside Ministries, they work with the local pregnancy center and any mother that has chosen life. They recommend those mothers, and if there's a father involved, that's so much the better. They recommend them to Alongside Ministries, and Alongside Ministries provides mentors, Christian mentors, and come and disciple these mostly ladies that have chosen life, and they find out there's a lot of responsibility that comes alongside taking a crisis pregnancy to term, and then you have a baby to raise, and things in their life are not in a place that make that an easy choice. So Alongside comes alongside, and they're a friend. They are a mentor. They provide a practical help. They provide a hug, but they provide diapers. They provide formula. They show the practical needs of, I think they even get involved in helping them get housing if they need it. Whatever the physical need is, whatever doors open spiritually, they provide that as well. But they come alongside mothers and fathers who have chosen life. And for these families and these ladies individually, they just do not have the means to provide a Christmas like we all take for granted in our families. And we are able to partner as a church to provide a Christmas celebration. And so we let the word spread. It was about twice as big this year as it was last year, but we had a group from a local big church here in Albuquerque, Sagebrush, had a group of people that filled our van full of gifts. And we brought those, Karma and I did, and did thank you, Esther, for all of your back office help and your emailing and your logistical help. Thank you, everybody at Restore. All the members just jumped in with both feet to help. And the idea is that we set up one of the back rooms with gifts that are donated. Nucinda Credit Union came in from the community. It's an amazing organization that gathers together their staff to help out churches and nonprofits with practical needs in their community. I think we had like 20 people from Nucinda. It was insane. It was amazing. We set up one of the back rooms with gifts. Now, these families oftentimes have siblings, and it's not only for the families that directly have come straight from the pregnancy center. It's also for those that are in dire need financially, and they're just not able to have a regular Christmas celebration like so many of us are. And but we organize the gifts according to age. And the families come, the mothers come, the little babies come through our doors. And when you think about an infant in our country today, they have no protection of any kind. Our government, our local government, actually pays to eliminate them. Tax dollars is used to pay for the procedures. You think of the vulnerability of a little one in that position, and it just pegs out my brain. I can't even think it. It's kind of like my thinking is like a stone ricocheting off the surface of the water. It's so dark I can't wrap my head around it. What do we do? Well, here's something that we can do. We have activities that come in, and so we have people from all of these organizations, including our church members, that say, hey, you want to come over to the cookie decorating station? And they all get in tables and they frost cookies and put decorations on that. And then there's the game station, and they go over and they play games. We got a team of volunteers that are helping with the games. And then when the time is right, they call the families to come in through the Christmas store, and there's a team back there that wraps the present on site and then secretly puts it inside of a big trash bag so that the kids won't be able to see what's inside, and they sneak all that stuff out to the cars. And the leaders in the church share the gospel, get up front and share the Christmas story, the story of Jesus's birth, and the message and the good news of the gospel. Many of these do not darken the door of a church, and here they are able to hear about what goes inside of a local body of believers. What else goes on? It was just, so quote unquote, randomly, where are we getting on time? This is going to be a long video, I think. Not too bad. One of those random moments, word of mouth spread, and two young ladies from a local high school came and said, we want to get involved and help. They have connections with our local sports team, the Isotopes. And what is the name of the Orbit is the name of the mascot. They use their connections to get Orbit to come to our church, and local fame. And Orbit came in and made a big presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Orbit. And Orbit comes into the sanctuary where we had everything laid out, and high-fived the kids and took pictures with the kids and had a local celebrity mascot there, just making it an absolute overwhelming blast to deal with darkness in our society. And that kind of comes back to the first point about the Great Samaritan. On one hand, it can just be theoretical when we go to God's word and the commands in there, or duty, heavy duty, you must do this, you must do that. Well, yeah, we must. But when God comes in, deals with our heart, and shows us we must be saved. The must has been taken care of by the Messiah. And Jesus has come and invaded our darkness, invaded the ditch of our brokenness. And he has taken care of us and blessed us and given us something far beyond anything physical. He's given us a new life. Then we can say, out of gratitude and joy, then we can do that to the practical and the spiritual needs of those in our community. And it was just very tiring. Karma did the majority of Karma and Esther and other volunteers at the church. You know me, I'm the spokesman. Give me a spotlight and a stage, and I'm up there talking. But did a little work. Karma did more, and it was just an absolute highlight for the year of 2026. And that's our action update. And so we move on to our next section, praise and prayer. I just want to say praise God, and praise God for you guys. From beginning to end, this work that Karma and I are being sent to must be bathed in prayer. From the foundation to the flag that waves above this ministry, it's a spiritual battle. You know, many organizations, non-Christian organizations, do good deeds at Christmas time. And but when you, as an organization or as an individual, say, I'm doing this in Jesus' name, you're raising the battle flag. That's something different. You're doing this in the name of Christ because of the grace he's gifted me. We're going to gift you because of the blessings, the air that he lets me breathe, the physical things that he lets us have, and then light years ahead of that, the spiritual blessings he gives us, then we want to share in physical ways and in spiritual ways too. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I know we're just getting started. Who knows who will see this stuff into the future. But as we move forward, prayer at the beginning, prayer at the end, prayer throughout. We're raising the battle flag. And no matter whether you're here with us in Albuquerque or you're from another state or even across the national border listening in, we're all in this together, literally, because prayer, God hears prayer anywhere, and even hears prayer as I record this. Thank you for your future prayers, because you can only see this recording in the future. But thank you for the past prayers. I know that a small group of you have already been praying for us. Here we go. 2026. Here we go. Also, a prayer request for Karma and me is we just pray for time and energy, that we use our time well and use our energy well. We are both working in secular jobs, and we have to be very strategic on what we commit to, what we choose to use our time with, and ask for wisdom and for discernment on how we can move forward step by step strategically as we're laying the groundwork for a ministry that we want to see outlive us. We would love to see this become something that goes beyond just Donnie and Karma's mission work, that we can build a ministry that will be an institution that will go beyond and be Christians on mission, training people to reach their neighbors and the nations with the gospel. I like that little phrase. And then also a prayer request for you. Again, like I started with, send us an email at donnie@restoreabq.com with what you are, your dreams and your visions for what you are wanting to do to reach others in your community with the gospel. What initiatives, ministries, projects, programs is your church doing that you're involved in? Maybe you as a family, maybe you as an individual. How are you sharing the message and the mercy of Jesus Christ? I want to hear from you. I need to hear from you. And so write us and we'll be praying for you. Let this prayer request, praise and prayer go both ways. So that is that. A back office report is that we'll have. And I just want to thank everybody for being so generous with us financially. We have 3 phases as we are praying forward with the reality of financial support. It is an awkward thing that I am not comfortable with, but I see in the Bible that ministry is funded financially through the gifts of God's people. John Piper said that the book of Romans is the greatest fundraising letter ever written in the history of the world. We know that the Gospel of Luke was written as a patron paid Luke to write the Bible. And so the gospel there is a fruit of someone's donation. And so I'm having to kind of take some of my pride, hopefully as much as possible of my pride away, and just saying, hey, if we, let's labor together. We have 3 phases. The first phase is as soon as possible, get to $1,000 a month. That's as soon as possible. The second phase is by the end of this year to get to a lump sum of $55,000. And that'll let us look at our current job responsibilities and where we could back off and give more time to the ministry. That's by the end of this year. And then by March of 2028, about 2 years from now, is to get fully funded and to have a salary of $50,000 for Karma, $50,000 for me, that we can have in the bank and then step away and give our full time to this. So here's where we are. We are already 67% there to reaching our first goal, to that $1,000 a month goal. We just have $333 a month left until we reach that full goal. And you guys, thank you. What an amazing thing. What an amazing, not just logistics, but just an encouragement that that we want to do this. We want to work together, and that you would support us in this effort. It's allowed us to start moving forward and do the double thing. Is like my advice from my brothers and sisters near us that are helping advise us on this is you're on the mission field. Start moving forward and just document your process. And so we already have expenses related to ministry. And so this helps us start moving forward. So it's very exciting as even though it's uncomfortable, I'm having to bust through just mindset that's not biblical and say, hey, let's start something together. And I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have one more card left. Number 6. Email us at Donnie at restorealbuquerque.com. I would love to hear anything that you have on your heart and mind by email, and but especially, what are your dreams? What are your visions? Maybe you've been in a place where you had an amazing experience, maybe on a short-term mission trip. Can you remember a time where maybe it was something in ministry? It could be in-house, in church, but maybe an experience sharing the gospel, doing an outreach event, maybe going on a short-term mission trip to, if you live in a rural area, maybe you went to a city and helped out with a VBS or whatever you did. Maybe you went to like a Good Samaritan ministries and helped out with a natural disaster. I would love to hear about your experience. But the point being is, remember the moments of that time. For me, the joy of that moment fades so fast. And fighting for joy is a day-by-day, step-by-step, prayer-by-prayer thing. And the joy that we get when we are on mission is like priceless. But yet the enemy comes in, life comes in, others come in, but mostly our heart comes in and we just go back to the status quo. My prayer is that as we do ministry here in Albuquerque, that we can do, you and me, the listeners and me, my friends and family, and Karma and Donnie, can have a ministry between the two of us where we can encourage each other to know the joy, of maybe your time was, you remember when you experienced the love of the Lord for the very first time. But when you were able to share that love with others, I would love to hear from that. But also in 2026, as we hunger to taste and see that the Lord is good one more time. So that's what I had in my heart. I don't know really how to end things up here today. I see that it's been about 32 minutes, but here is one thing that we're wanting to do: weekly updates. And so we'll have a weekly video. And so getting into a pattern, I've done this before. Actually, my job requires that I produce, my secular job requires that I produce regular recordings. Some of my closest friends, men, brothers, we did a year-long project in 2024 where we read through the entire Bible, every page, cover to cover. And I put out like 5 videos a week. And so I have my microphone and my same camera, everything set up here. But we're looking at providing 1 video a week with the email. And just thanks, everybody. Be praying for you. Be watching for those emails. And we will talk to you next time. God bless you.